Hello there and welcome to Aliens Fireteam. We're going to be taking a look at this Left 4 Dead inspired game to see what it has to offer you and whether it's worth your time. I'll show you what the game has to offer, give you my opinions on it all, and then just leave you with some uncommentated gameplay. So first of all, you will be creating a character to make as you see fit, which is nice. We don't have the predetermined characters like we do in most of these games like Left 4 Dead. So you'll customize your character's human body appearance, but you can also customize their outfits, their headgear, and their armor as a whole. So it's only those two things, but it's nice to have that option to kind of play the fashion game while you're saving the galaxy, because that is very important to look snazzy while you're slaughtering the aliens. Then you choose some less important stuff of your loadout. Do you want to be a gunner, a demolisher, a technician, or a doc? Those are all kind of the classes. They have strengths and weaknesses, they have different abilities, they have different weapons that they can use, and there is weapon customization. As you can see, you can add attachments to increase stats of the weapon and things like that. And there is a nice perk system with a little grid that you kind of Tetris things into the right place with. You can only fit so much stuff on, so you have to decide which perks you want to try and use and if you can fit them on. The perks are things like making the abilities do more damage or have less cooldown time. It's a nice little slightly different system all the same. So there's a nice chunk of customization in your character and in your loadout and your class, so you can really build how you like to play. There's also consumables to use, things like being able to put down sentry turrets or mines, getting different types of ammunition. There's also challenge cards, which you can play if you want, you don't have to. These are like certain requirements that if you manage to complete them within a mission, you'll get some extra credits or some extra experience. They're things that just make the mission harder in some way, but give you some rewards. So those are there if you want to do them, but you don't have to. There's also a fair bit of alien lore in the game as well, so if you're into that, it's got you covered there too. Now, for the actual game itself, we have 4 campaigns to play through, and a horde mode as well, although that's locked to start with. Each campaign has 3 missions. Those missions are fairly long, like 20 to 30 minutes, maybe your first time through. Unless you want to rush, you could probably do them a fair bit quicker. Does depend on the difficulty. There's 5 difficulties to choose from. You have to unlock the hardest 2. You can pause and read if you really want to see what the differences are. For the most part, it increases friendly fire damage, it gives the aliens more health, makes them do a little bit more damage, all the stuff you might expect. But we do kind of have some progression with the campaigns. As you can see, the recommended rating for this campaign is 150 on this difficulty. I'm currently combat rated 305, so I'd have no problem with this difficulty. If I crank it up, it goes to intense. Now it's 500 though, so I'm not quite ready to take on this on intense. Although I can try it if I want to, it will just be pretty tough. And if you're wondering, one of the most important things, yes, the pulse rifle sounds pretty good. Alright, let's actually get into it then. I'm playing here just one of the first missions with my man Eledge. So we got a 3-man team, 2 players and 1 bot. The bots, first of all, aren't too bad on the lower difficulties. They're not really going to be much use on the higher difficulties though. They will probably get murdered. But the campaign levels themselves play out very much like you would expect from a Left 4 Dead style game. You start off a level, you got to get from A to B and simply not die. That's pretty much the gist of it. Along the way, you may have different challenges and things to face. You'll have events to go through. You do have to manage your inventory a bit and try to use your abilities well, especially as you go up the difficulties. This is being played on intense difficulty here, which is a little bit above both of our pay grades. Neither of us are that 500 combat rating that's supposedly needed to play this difficulty, but as long as we stay on our toes, we should be okay. So it's nice that you can actually attempt it and you don't have... Oh, Eledge abusing the bot there. No, Eledge, leave him alone. Are you keeping him in line? Okay, fine work, fine work. What was I on about? Yeah, it's nice that you can attempt the difficulties. They don't kind of lock you out of them until you're ready. You can try them if you want to and potentially succeed. Whoa. So I've been jumped by one of the elites. You can see a quick time event to get him off. Now, a lot of people, when I streamed this on Twitch, they weren't too big a fan of the quick time events, which I don't mind them. I'm not huge on them either. I don't think you should be able to get up, though, because you can basically save yourself from those aliens rather than having to have a teammate save you, which I don't really like. I think that's what's great about Left 4 Dead is that it forces the teamwork, because if you run off and you get grabbed by something, you're dead, unless somebody saves you. So not really a fan of the quick time stuff, mostly because it allows you to save yourself, which means people can be okay running off by themselves rather than being forced into teamwork, which I think in this kind of game is important. So by all means, force me into teamwork. Don't let me save myself. That's what I would have said. Graphics-wise, the game I think looks really nice. It's nothing too crazy special, but it's nice enough and it runs well, even if you don't have the best graphics card in the world. The environments all look very authentic to the alien universe. There is some questionable HUD stuff though, but thankfully you can turn it off, like kill confirmation markers when you kill an alien. It puts a big red X above them, which just looks kind of stupid to me. Thankfully though, you can turn it off if you want. As for the audio of the game, overall pretty good, with a few questionable bits here and there. The guns and the aliens sound good. The music could probably be better. It could be a little bit more intense in areas. There's a bit in the second campaign where it sounds like you're at a carnival when you're there, like in the middle of an alien slaughter firefight, and it sounds like you're at a fucking carnival with the music that's going. But apart from that, mostly good. The voice acting is okay. You get a lot of NPC interaction when you're in the little hub area before you do missions, and you speak to a lot of people there, and there's a lot of different accents on all the characters, which I think it's quite obvious that those accents are not the natural accents of the voice actors, and they're putting them on, and they're just, they're okay, but nothing special. But that's just a small part of the game anyway. To the shooting and the movement, if you've ever played Gears of War, you're basically there with this. It's a little bit simpler though. It's pretty much just pointed stuff, shoot it. There's not a ton of recoil to deal with. There's no fancy reloading mechanics or anything like that. There is a roll to dodge out the way, like so. There's also a cover system, which you do need from time to time when you fight certain enemies, because you're not just fighting xenomorphs all the time in this game. Although there's one of the elite ones that spits acid at you. So you've seen, much like Left 4 Dead, you have the specials, or elites as I think they're called in this. You have the one that jumped on me earlier, that's one of them. There's ones that run up to you, and if you shoot them, when you shoot them, they explode in your face, so you've got to be careful to avoid those. There's the ones that spit acid, as you just saw, and a couple of others, so you've got some nice variety in the different kinds of aliens. The aliens themselves move well enough. Their animations are good, they look good, they sound good. The AI is okay, they do kind of just barrel at you. They run straight across the floor at you rather than maybe using the walls or the ceilings to get to you first and then dropping down on you, which they do occasionally, but for the most part they do just run at you like angry dogs. So shooting and movement generally nice, aliens are generally nice. Abilities and stuff are pretty important. I'm playing as the gunner. I do have a grenade kind of option. I think I've got it changed to a slightly different ability, which I actually don't like. I also have a buff so I can increase the reload speed and fire rate of myself and everybody in the party. So that can just all help us output more damage in a pinch when we need it. It does have a cooldown, so you can't obviously use it all the time. And Eledge is playing as the technician. He has a sentry turret that has infinite ammo that he can place, and that has pretty quick cooldown, so you can mostly have a sentry gun up all of the time. He also has a little grid that he can throw down on the floor that slows down any aliens that move through it, so that can be useful for buying his time or buying his turret time to do some damage. And then there's a Demolisher who has rockets and things, and also the Doc, who is a healer. He has a little station you can put down that you can all stand inside, a little AoE that'll heal you up. So there's different classes. There's a recon class as well, which you can unlock. I haven't got it yet, so I don't know exactly what it does. I guess it's going to be some kind of sniper, but yeah, you've got all those options and all the different abilities, and as you move up the difficulties, using the abilities well is what really becomes important. Like any game, you really got to utilize things and manage your resources well when you get on those higher difficulties, because on normal difficulty, you can just kind of use things willy-nilly and it'll probably be fine. But on this kind of difficulty and even higher, you do have to be a little bit more thoughtful on how you use all your stuff. And I think that's really where the fun of these kind of games comes in. It's just about the harder difficulties and trying to run them as effectively and efficiently as possible with all your abilities and the resources that you have. But outside of that, if you're not into that, it's probably going to leave just a small hardcore audience that are into that do play it. Because unfortunately, the game doesn't have any kind of versus mode. It is just the single player or the co-op that you have the option of doing. And to me, I never understand why these games don't put versus modes in them. Imagine being able to play this and play as the aliens, play as the spitter one, play as the one that can jump on things, play as the one that explodes. There's so much potential there for this game, but they didn't do it. And to me, that is going to be the reason why this game just ends up with a niche audience that just likes playing the hard game modes and being super sweaty about it. And there'll be a lot of players that play it through like me, that'll play the campaigns through, they'll love it, they'll enjoy it, and then they'll never touch the game ever again. Which is a shame, because it is a nice game, and it does deserve a bit more time. It's not doing anything special, it's not doing anything groundbreaking. It's fairly generic as third-person shooters go, but it is a nice venture into the Alien universe. Lord knows we haven't had too many decent Alien games, Colonial Marines, so having something that is fairly decent is a nice change. Obviously Alien Isolation is great, but that's very different from this. So yeah, it would be nice if it had a little bit more life to it. There is going to be some DLCs and stuff, I'm sure, that'll bring some people back. I'd like to play them through. I do enjoy those campaigns for the first time, as I say, but I don't know yet. I haven't had enough hours in it to obviously know if I'm going to enjoy running the same campaigns over and over again, because that is what we do in Left 4 Dead, right? You just run the same freaking things over and over again. No variation in the campaigns as well. Like, Left 4 Dead is very simple in that respect. There's no modifiers or card systems to mess things up. It's pretty much just the same every time, other than the witch and the tank might move. But somehow it always stays interesting, and to me it's versus mode that does that. I've got well over 1,000 hours in Left 4 Dead on console and PC, and probably, honestly, not even joking, somewhere between 3 to 5 hours is probably about how much I've played just co-op campaigns. I find it really boring to play co-op campaigns. I'm all about versus. I like playing and competing against other players, and also playing the infected is fun, right? You don't get to do that when you just play co-op, so that's really what's missing here. As with all these kind of games, there's a lot of these games that do this that don't do any kind of versus, and I think that's a huge missed opportunity. But that aside, if you're not really into versus anyway, you're just into co-op shooters, and you've got at least 2 friends, you'll probably enjoy running through this. If you like the Alien universe, if you don't mind it being a fairly simple, generic, nothing too crazy shooter, there is some customization and character building, which is fun. But if you really like Left 4 Dead co-op style gameplay, and you really like the Alien universe, I think it'll be a good one for you, especially if you've got a couple of buddies you can play it with. The price they're asking for isn't too unreasonable. I think it's fair, but it might be a good one to wait for a sale with, because it may very well just be a game that you play through all the campaigns once or a couple of times, and then, you know, you'll probably go back to playing Left 4 Dead versus anyway. So, yeah, I think that's most of what I have to say on this subject. I would give it maybe a solid 7 out of 10. It's decent. I've been enjoying it. I've played maybe 10 or 15 hours so far. I've been enjoying them. I'm liking going through the campaigns and discovering what's happening in the campaigns and getting a little bit of the lore of the situation and things like that. So I'm excited to play the final campaign, which I haven't done yet, and also to try the Horde mode. But once I've done that, will I really want to play too much more? I think I would like to try the higher difficulties. I'd like to see what Expert and Insane is like, how hard they really are, because Intense is a fair jump up from standard difficulty, which is like the normal and hard difficulty, Intense being the hard difficulty, which we're playing on now. I'd like to see what the jump up is to the next higher 2 difficulties. But again, after that, I don't know if I'm still going to care enough to really play it anymore, whether I'll just go back to playing Left 4 Dead if I want this kind of experience, whether I'll play some of the other options that are coming out. World War Z is coming to Steam. That's a pretty fun game. I played it on Game Pass. It's on Epic as well. There's obviously Back 4 Blood coming, but I think this is a little bit of a different experience from Back 4 Blood, because it is faster paced like Left 4 Dead, whereas Back 4 Blood is a little bit slower paced generally. But I think, to be honest, I'd probably rather play this than Back 4 Blood, at least from my experience of both games so far. But hey, that's just me. Anyway, I ramble on. I'll leave you on some gameplay footage now of us just playing through this level. Maybe we'll finish it, maybe we won't. Let's find out. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the future.
You'll have to cut the refrigerant to reach me.
Ammo drop.
Broke the valve. Tossed the wheel in a side room. Sorry.
Hey, kids here. I got you. Hey, kids here. Grabbing ammo. Entry deployed.
That's it. Just attach it to the valve in the pump room. Watch your ass! Now your lungs won't freeze on the way in. In theory.
already getting red hot in there. Move fast, fire team.
Wait, I hear banging in the ducts.
Bypassing damage.
Big ones! Is that... No, no strikes. God. The ducts on the right! Sorry. Again, it's just there's one Xeno that I keep seeing it. I think. Maybe I'm just I don't know. I haven't slept. You'll have to unseal the doors to the server core.
Grabbing
Should
ammo.
do it. Now we fight off another damn swarm. Get to cover.
Heavy gun ready.
Eyes up.
Rearming.
Bypassing damage.
Sentry deployed.
Shut down signal.
Rearming.
Got her. She's here! Monica, get out of there! Oh, God! was me. Followed me. And
Grabbing ammo.
they made it. In the lab on LV-895. It came up here with us. We didn't know until...
Grabbing ammo.
The woman who... The one it came out of. Her name was Monica.
Patching up.
Mine is prepped.
Rearming. Aid kit's here.
Mine is out.
Mine's out.
The room I'm in? It's only supposed to be opened by company admins. Unlocking takes a couple minutes. Xenos will be drawn by the noise.
Mine's out.
Vibration, whatever, they'll come. Be ready.
Sentry's ready to go. Sentry gun ready. Rearming. All right, 8 kits. Grabbing ammo.
Locks are dropping. I hope you can... Good luck. They're coming.
See this?
Grabbing ammo. Rearming.
We were so close.